Hey everyone. So I'm going to teach you how to turn a regular circular saw into a table saw without spending a gratuitous amount of money. Uh, you know me, with starting up this homestead and doing a lot of work on the house by myself, I needed a table saw, but if I'm working on the house, I don't have the money to really do a whole lot with. This is going to be the easiest tutorial that I've come across. And like I said, it's super simple. So first off, you gotta get you a circular saw. Know how your blade spins. Your blade's gonna spin this way. All right, so when you're sending your boards through, you don't wanna send it this way because it'll just shoot your board up and it'll fling it. So you're gonna be sending it this way. So best, if you have a pen or something, if you can't remember that this is the way it spins, put you an arrow. So anyway, take your saw blade, sink it into a piece of plywood. Here's the thing, it doesn't necessarily have to be straight. I've spent a lot of time with this, and I've done a lot of online research before I've done this, that this needs to be perfectly square with this over here and so forth and so on. It really doesn't matter because you have to have a fence, and your fence is what actually saves you. All right, so it also helps to have sawhorses. These are just some basic sawhorses that I really just put together with some crappy wood from Lowe's, and I can take these out and the whole table saw just comes out with me. So under here's what I've got. I've drilled holes in this in the guard right here, and I've done 5 of them just all around the saw. And what happens is you take a screw and you stick it up in, you screw in there, and you're good, and that just holds everything up to it. I can adjust the depth of the saw blade by just flipping this lever right here, which you can't really see it in the video, but how it gives you your depth and stuff like that. All right, so how do I turn this on? Well, some people will use a power strip. I don't, just because it's one more thing I have to pull out. So I just have the straight plug that plugs into that outlet that I put in. And this right here is a zip tie, but it's a special zip tie because I can loosen it better with 2 hands, but I can loosen it because it has a little tab right there. You can barely see it. It has a little tab right there, and you can find those on Amazon pretty cheap. But I just press that button and cinch this down, and now the trigger's pulled. I'm good. Now just plug it in and everything rolls. All right, so that's the construction on the bottom side. I did use a thicker piece of plywood and smaller screws, just so that the screws didn't stick through, but if they do, just take a grinder or something like that and grind them down. Simple. So your fence. All right, so you're gonna see a couple of lines right here that I've drawn. You need yourself a square. I usually use a speed square. I can't exactly remember the name of this one right now, but it really doesn't matter. Here's what I do with this. I take this and I lay this right here up against the side of the blade, and that gives me a perfect 90 off of here. And then I measure how far I want to come out. I make a mark, I flip it over, do the same thing, flush right up against here, make my mark, and then I come back and I put a mark to connect. And that gives me the perfect, a perfect line right here. Then what I do is I take this piece of wood, and this is just a basic fence. It just has 2 screws in either side. I line it up just as close as I can to that line and screw it in. And then I just send my wood pushed up against this all the way through. And that's how I made myself a little table saw. It's not gonna be 100% accurate. It's not gonna be the perfect end-all be-all of table saws. But guys, if you're trying to rip a board or trying to rip something, this is going to be the easiest bet. This is going to be the cheapest. This is going to be something that you know, do-it-yourselfers, homesteaders, whatever you want to call yourself. It's going to be something that you're going to be able to do really quick. So I advise going with something like this until you can afford something better. So, and then if you don't need this anymore, or you need your circular saw, just unscrew this, flip it over, unscrew this from there, and this is nothing any different. Now there may be some people out there that'll say, well, this is just going to be, you know, a couple of centimeter hairs off. Yeah, of course it will be. I mean, this isn't, again, this is just something that I've come up with, that I've seen online, and you know, it is what it is. But again, it's going to get you close. And if you're ripping a board through, you send it through, and then you take both ends and you send it through again, they're going to be spot on, because this right here is always going to stay in place, and this is going to spin just about in the same spot every time. So there you go. Thank you for watching. Make sure you do subscribe. Every once in a while I do put up videos that show just how easy it is to do things when you have a little bit of know-how.